The encounter. The space station floated quietly near the dark side of planet Jera. Far from Earth, it was a lonely place. Engineers, scientists, and guards lived there. Most of them followed rules. But Kai was different. He was young, curious, and sometimes broke the rules, just to feel alive. That night, Kai was working alone in the control room. The stars outside looked cold and quiet. Suddenly, a red light blinked on his radar screen. Unidentified object. Entering the atmosphere, the system voice said. Kai frowned. There were no ships scheduled to arrive. He zoomed in the screen. Something, small and fast, was falling toward the station. It wasn't a rock or a satellite. It was something alive. Without asking permission, Kai grabbed his jacket and ran out. Outside, the wind from Jera's surface blew hard. The sky was black, full of dust clouds. Kai followed the direction from the radar. He climbed down into the dry canyon near the edge of the base. Then he saw it, a small silver pod half buried in the sand. Smoke came from its side. He stepped closer, heart beating fast. The pod hissed and opened. Inside, a figure moved. Slowly, she stood up. She wasn't human. Her skin was light blue and glowing softly. Her eyes were large, full of fear. Her white suit was torn, and she looked hurt. Kai froze. The girl looked at him, scared and weak. "Help me," she said in a soft voice full of pain. Kai stared at her, not sure what to do. She looked too real, too human, but not from this world. "Who are you?" he asked. Before she could answer, lights appeared in the sky. 3 military drones flew over the canyon. Loudspeakers shouted, "Step away from the object. This is a restricted area." Kai panicked. If they found her, they would take her away. She would be locked, tested, maybe killed. He didn't know why, but he wanted to protect her. "Hide," he whispered. She tried to move, but fell. Without thinking, Kai lifted her in his arms and ran toward a hidden tunnel near the station walls. An old supply path no one used anymore. He placed her down inside the tunnel and turned on a small light. Her skin glowed brighter in the dark. "Thank you," she whispered, holding her side. "Why are they chasing you?" Kai asked. "Because I escaped from them," she said. Her voice was shaking. They took me from my ship. I'm not safe here." Outside, heavy boots echoed. Soldiers were searching. One voice came closer. "Kai, you here?" It was Commander Rowe. His voice was strict. "We saw movement on the radar. What are you doing here?" Kai quickly stepped out of the tunnel and stood in front of the wall. "Just fixing the power cables, sir," he lied, trying to sound calm. Rowe narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe him, but he didn't find anything. "Be careful, engineer. Something fell from space. If you see anything strange, report it." "Yes, sir." The soldiers walked away. Kai waited until the sound faded. He returned to the girl. She looked at him with worried eyes. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Kai thought for a moment. "I don't know," he said honestly, "but I couldn't leave you there." She gave a small smile. "My name is Leora," she said. Kai nodded. "I'm Kai. You're safe now, for a while." But deep inside, he knew things were about to get worse. The station was full of cameras, drones, and people who followed orders. If anyone found out, both of them could die. Still, he felt something strange. A soft connection with this alien girl. And for the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone. That night, as Kai watched Leora sleep in the shadows of the tunnel, he checked his jacket. There was something small and cold inside his pocket. He pulled it out, a small black tracker, blinking red. Someone had marked him, someone new. Hunted by his own, the space station was no longer a home for Kai. Since the moment he hid Leora, everything had changed. His peaceful routine had become a game of secrets and lies. Each corner he turned, he feared someone might be watching. Each voice he heard on the speaker, he thought it might call out his name for arrest. And then there was the tracker. He held it in his hand again that morning, hidden deep inside the tunnels where Leora now stayed. A small black disc, the size of a coin, blinking red. Someone had slipped it into his jacket. Someone didn't trust him. "They're watching me," Kai whispered. Leora, still weak but slowly healing, sat beside a broken supply crate. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. She looked at the tracker. "Destroy it," she said. "No," Kai replied. "If I destroy it, they'll know I found it. That could be worse." She nodded, understanding more than he expected. Kai hid the tracker inside a trash unit, far from the tunnel. Then he returned to her. For the next few days, he lived two lives. By day, he worked on machines, reported to Commander Rowe, and pretended everything was normal. By night, he brought food, medicine, and small tools to Leora. She began to tell him more. Her planet was called Valari. Her people could feel each other's emotions, a kind of empathic energy. That's why she trusted Kai from the beginning. "You weren't afraid when you saw me," she said one night, her voice soft. "You were sad, lonely." Kai didn't deny it. He had always felt like a stranger, even among humans. Now he had found someone who felt like a mirror, but danger was growing. One evening, while repairing a communication panel in the West Wing, Kai overheard a conversation. Two officers stood by the control room door. "Command says the alien might be hiding inside the station," one said. "You think someone's helping her?" "Could be. Rowe has a list of suspects. He's watching everything." Kai's blood ran cold. He stepped back slowly, then rushed away. When he returned to the tunnel, he found Leora standing near the wall, breathing fast. "They scanned the upper level," she said. "I could hear them." Kai clenched his jaw. Time was running out. That night, he asked Leora a question that had been burning in his mind. "Why do they want you so badly?" She looked at him, her glowing eyes dimming. "Because I carry something," she whispered. "Something powerful." She placed her hand on her chest. "Inside me is a small core, a living source of my people's energy. It connects me to my home. They call it the pulse." Kai frowned. "Is it a weapon?" She shook her head. "No, it's a message. If I die, my people will know. And they will come. Not to talk. To destroy." Kai stepped back. His thoughts raced. If the military harmed her, they wouldn't just start a war. They'd bring extinction. Suddenly the tunnel lights flickered. A drone flew past the lower vent. Leora froze. Kai quickly pulled her behind a steel panel. The drone hovered, scanned the area, then moved on. Too close. Much too close. The next day, Kai received a message on his console. "Report to Interrogation Room B." He stared at it. His hands felt cold. He walked into the gray room. "Commander." Rowe stood there, arms crossed. "We've noticed strange behavior," he said. "You've been working odd hours, moving through restricted zones. Can you explain that?" Kai tried to stay calm. "I've been upgrading old systems. You know how the West Wing's been failing." Rowe stepped closer. "You've always been a good worker, Kai. Smart, quiet, loyal. But lately, you seem distracted." Kai forced a smile. "Just tired." Rowe didn't blink. "Let me be clear. If anyone is hiding the alien, they're a traitor, and traitors don't leave this station." The room was silent. Then Rowe walked out. Kai sat, there alone, heart pounding. That night he returned to Leora. She could feel something was wrong. "They're closing in," he said. "We have to plan an escape." She looked weak again. The pulse inside her was draining her energy. "There's one way," she said. "If we reach the launch bay, I can send a signal to my people. They'll come, but only if I'm alive." Kai nodded. He didn't know if they would survive, but he knew one thing. He would rather die helping her than live with the guilt of betrayal. Suddenly, Leora placed her hand on his arm. Her touch was warm, filled with a strange peace. "You're different, Kai, I can feel it. You have a light inside you, just like we do." He smiled, but outside, alarms began to ring. Intruder detected. The hunt had truly begun. Back in the control room, Commander Rowe stared at a screen. A heat map from the tunnels. 2 figures. One human, one not. Rowe narrowed his eyes. You. Secrets of the alien girl. The emergency sirens screamed through the space station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. Soldiers armed with rifles ran in groups, scanning every corner. Drones hovered like hungry hawks searching for movement. Inside a hidden service tunnel, Kai and Leora crouched behind an old generator. Dust filled the air. Their hearts pounded in the silence between alarm echoes. "They know," Kai whispered. "They saw us." Leora nodded, her blue skin pulsing faintly in the dark. Her energy was fading. "I can't keep hiding for long," she said softly. Kai looked at her. In the last few days, she had become more than just a mystery, more than an alien. She was someone who trusted him, someone who believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. And now they were both being hunted. The secret vision, while the soldiers searched the lower decks, Leora finally spoke. "There's something I need to show you," she said. She reached out, gently placing her glowing hand on Kai's forehead. In that moment, the tunnel around them disappeared. Suddenly, Kai stood in a different place. He was on Valari, her home planet. The sky above was deep violet and silver mountains touched the stars. Towers floated in the air. Music filled the wind. Light moved through the trees like rivers of energy. But then, fire fell from the sky. Human warships, black and red, attacked the peaceful planet. Explosions shattered the towers. Screams filled the air. Soldiers dragged her people from their homes. Kai saw Leora's family, her little brother, captured and taken away. She had escaped, but barely. Kai dropped to his knees in the vision. "We did this?" he whispered. Leora's voice echoed around him. "They took me to study me, to take my energy. They call it science. We call it pain." The vision ended. They were back in the tunnel. Kai couldn't speak. He felt shame, deep and heavy. "Why did you show me this?" he finally asked. "Because," she said, her voice trembling, "you needed to see who your people really are, and decide who you really are." The internal battle, outside the tunnel, the soldiers were getting closer. Commander Rowe had ordered every level locked. One corridor at a time, they were closing the circle. Kai was now officially marked as a potential traitor. He had a choice: abandon Leora and save himself, or risk everything and fight back. Inside, his thoughts screamed. He remembered the peaceful planet, the floating towers, the smiling children, and how his kind burned it all. He made his choice. The pulse's power. Leora leaned against the wall, weaker now. Her skin was dim. The pulse inside her and the living energy of her people was draining fast. "If I don't reach my people soon," she said, "the pulse will die. And with it, hope." Kai looked at her glowing chest. The pulse was more than a weapon or a tool. It was a warning system, a way to keep the galaxy safe. If she died, her people would believe humans killed her, and they would return with vengeance. "Then we're not just running for our lives," Kai said. "We're running to save Earth." Trust is tested. They moved quickly through a hidden shaft toward the south port, the only place left unguarded. But as they reached a small storage area, they heard a noise. Footsteps. Kai's friend, Riven, stood there, holding a gun. His face was pale. His hands shook. "Kai, please tell me you're not helping her," Riven said. Kai stood in front of Leora. "She's not the enemy, Riven. They showed us the images. They said she's dangerous. You only saw what they wanted you to see." Riven aimed the gun at Kai. "They'll kill us both if they find out." I already told Commander Rowe you've been acting strange. Kai's heart sank. You reported me. Riven lowered his eyes. I didn't think they'd really hurt you. I just wanted to keep you safe. A moment of silence passed. Then, Leora stepped forward. I can make him see, she whispered. She gently touched Riven's forehead, just like she did with Kai. For a second, Riven saw Valari. He saw the truth, the pain, the war, the stolen peace. When he came back, his gun dropped. Oh no, he whispered. What have we done? The clock is ticking. They didn't have much time. Leora's strength was dropping fast. Kai carried her across the lower fuel bay toward the shuttle room. Suddenly, alarms rang again. Intruders detected in Dock 4. Commander Rowe's voice echoed on every speaker. Kai, I gave you a chance, but you chose her. Soldiers stormed the area. Gunfire blasted down the corridor. Kai placed Leora behind a wall and pulled out a wrench, the only thing he had. He stood ready. You're not touching her, he said. Just. Then a shockwave burst from Leora's chest. Boom! Light flooded the hallway. Soldiers fell back, blinded. The pulse had awakened, but the energy cost was too high. Leora collapsed in Kai's arms, barely breathing. We need to reach the launch pad now, Kai shouted. Sirens howled. Soldiers regrouped. Leora looked into Kai's eyes. If I die before I send the signal, they'll come for Earth. Kai didn't answer. He just held her tighter and ran into the fire. The escape plan. The base was falling into chaos. Alarms flashed across every hallway. Red lights blinked like angry eyes. Armed patrols blocked exits. Commander Rowe had sealed off the launch bay, the only way out. But deep below, in the dark service tunnels, Kai was moving fast. He held Leora in his arms, her breathing shallow, her skin dim. The pulse inside her was almost gone. Stay with me, he whispered. She opened her glowing eyes for just a moment. Don't let it end here. He wouldn't. He couldn't. Riven's redemption. As Kai turned a corner, Riven appeared from a side door, carrying a stolen keycard and a small data cube. I shut down the motion sensors on Deck 7, Riven said, breathing hard. But that gave me just 12 minutes. After that, the auto defenses come back online. Kai stared at him. Why are you helping now? Riven looked away. Because she showed me everything. We're not the heroes. We're the invaders. He handed Kai the keycard. There's a secret tunnel under the lab floor. It leads straight to Launch Pad C. Through the lab of secrets, Kai, Leora, and Riven entered the hidden lab level. The room was cold, dark, full of machines with blinking lights and glass tanks. Inside the tanks were others like Leora, alien children, young Valari, unmoving, frozen. In stasis, Kai stopped, horrified. They kept them alive? Leora pressed her hand against the glass. Tears shimmered in her glowing eyes. They're not just studying us. They're trying to copy us, weaponize us. In the center of the lab, a giant screen showed data readings from the pulse in Leora's body. They were using me to find this, she whispered. Her breathing was getting weaker. No more running, Kai said. Let's burn this place down. He grabbed a plasma torch and lit one of the fuel tanks. The lab erupted in flames, smoke pouring through the air vents. The fire alarms went off, drawing soldiers away from the launch bay. A perfect distraction. Countdown to escape. The trio reached the secret tunnel. It was tight and dark. Steam hissed from broken pipes. The floor shook from explosions above. Kai carried Leora. She was light now, too light. He checked his watch. 6 minutes left. As they neared the launch bay, Riven stopped suddenly. I'll stay here, he said. What? Kai turned around. Someone has to close the tunnel from this end, Riven said. If not, they'll follow you onto the ship. Kai hesitated. You'll die here. Riven smiled sadly. Not if they think I was chasing you the whole time. He gave Kai a quick nod, then turned back to the flames. Go. Get her out. Save both our worlds. The final door. Kai reached the launch bay, but the gate was locked. Massive steel doors sealed tight. He placed Leora down and scanned the stolen keycard. Access denied. His heart dropped. No. Not now. He looked back. Soldiers were already on their way. Leora opened her eyes again. Her voice was a whisper. Let me try. She placed her glowing hand on the console. The screen blinked. Access granted. The doors opened with a loud hiss. The Chases. They stepped onto the launch platform. Commander Rowe appeared, standing in front of the ship. Dozens of soldiers aimed. Their rifles. End of the line, Kai. Rowe said coldly. You had a future here. Now you're a traitor. Kai stood tall. No, I just stopped being blind. Rowe raised his gun, but before he could fire, Leora stood, barely on her feet. Her chest glowed bright gold. Her voice echoed, louder, stronger. If you kill me, you end your world too. Rowe paused, confused. My death will send a message. To my people. And they will burn this planet to ash. Rowe hesitated. In that moment of doubt, Kai grabbed a smoke bomb from his belt and threw it. Boom. Smoke filled the air. Shouts, blasts, screams. Kai rushed Leora onto the ship, locked the hatch, and hit launch. Takeoff under fire. The ship rumbled. Bullets hit the hull. Drones flew in. One last laser blast hit the wing, but it wasn't enough. The shuttle blasted off, fire pushing it into the black sky. As the station shrank behind them, Leora collapsed completely. Kai pulled her into his arms. Her pulse was fading. We made it, he said. You're going home. Leora opened her eyes. Just once more. She whispered one final word. No, we're not safe yet. Suddenly, the ship's control panel went dark. An enemy signal appeared on the screen. Unknown. Object detected. Something was following them. Something not human. Trust and betrayal. The shuttle was silent. Stars moved slowly outside the windows. The engine hummed low. Inside, Kai sat near the pilot's seat, sweat dripping down his face. Beside him, Leora lay motionless. Her skin was pale blue now, no longer glowing. Her breathing was faint. Kai gripped the flight controls tighter. Just a little longer, he said. We'll find your people. They'll save you. They have to. But then, the screen in front of him flickered. An alert flashed red. Warning. Object approaching. Speed. Hypersonic signal unknown. Not human. Before Kai could react, a violent jolt shook the shuttle. Impact detected. Alarms screamed. From the side window, Kai saw something moving. A dark vessel, sharp like a dagger, wrapped in shadow. It wasn't from Earth. It wasn't from Valari either. It was something else. Captured in space suddenly, bright light filled the cockpit. A magnetic force pulled the shuttle backward. They've locked us in a tractor beam, Kai whispered. He tried to fight it, pushing buttons, rerouting power. But it was useless. The shuttle was being dragged toward the black vessel. Leora stirred. No, not them, she whispered. Her voice cracked. They are the ones who sell lives. Kai froze. What do you mean? They capture survivors, sell alien bodies, to your people. The horror hit Kai like ice. This was a black market ship, a hunter, a collector, a dealer in pain. The shuttle shook one last time and stopped. The side doors burst open. Dark-suited figures stepped inside, faces hidden, voices robotic. One scanned. Kai. Human male. Pilot class. Keep alive. Another scanned Leora. Valari female. Energy core present. Priority specimen. No! Kai shouted. He grabbed a metal pipe and swung. They zapped him with a shock weapon. His vision blurred. Pain shot through his body. Everything went black. The cold room. Kai woke up in a cold metal cell. No windows, no lights. just walls that hummed like deep drums. He tried to stand, but his legs felt heavy. Across the cell, a screen turned on. Commander Ro's face appeared. Kai stared in disbelief. Ro? How are you? Ro smiled, but it wasn't kind. You didn't think this all happened by accident, did you? He said. You led her right into our hands. Kai's heart dropped. You planned this. From the beginning, Ro replied. We knew she would trust you. You're soft, emotional, perfect bait. The horrible truth Ro walked through the screen, now live from the same ship. The girl's energy core will be removed soon. It's powerful. With it, we can power entire cities, their weapons. Kai clenched his fists. You lied to me. Used me. Ro shrugged. That's war, Kai. You either serve the system, or become fuel for it. Kai slammed his fists into the wall. I won't let you hurt her. But he was powerless. Trapped. Hopeless. Leora's pain in another room. Leora was strapped to a glowing table. Machines hovered over her chest, scanning the pulse. She opened her eyes slightly. She was too weak to fight, but she could feel something. Kai, even far away, she felt his fear, his anger, his sorrow. Their bond was still alive, and that bond was the only thing they hadn't accounted for. The spark of hope. Back in the cell, Kai sat in silence, then suddenly, a whisper echoed in his mind. Not a voice, a feeling. A warmth. It was Leora. She was still fighting. Kai stood up. He looked around. The guards had left his cell unlocked, too sure he was broken. He moved quietly, remembering the ship's layout from his training. One hallway, 2 corners, security, panel. He reached the power hub, and there, he saw something strange. The ship wasn't entirely human. Parts of it were built using Valari tech. The black market ship had stolen and fused alien systems. Kai smiled. Then maybe I can turn their own machine against them. The rebellion begins. He hacked the Valari interface with a tool he stole from the lab. Lights dimmed, sirens blared, doors opened, across the ship, cages unlocked. Other prisoners, alien and human, woke up. Kai ran through the chaos, searching for Leora. He burst into the lab. There she was, eyes closed, machine hovering over her chest. Leora! She opened her eyes slowly. Her lips moved. They won't win. He ripped the cables from the machine and carried her again. Blasts echoed behind him. Guards chased him, drones fired, but now, prisoners were fighting back. Kai reached the control room. He placed Leora in a seat and activated the self-destruct countdown. We die together, or we fly together. Leora reached for him, and the pulse flared alive. A wave of golden light exploded from her chest. Every machine in the ship froze, every enemy fell, but the countdown kept ticking. Self-destruct in 45 seconds. Would they escape or burn together? The last stand. Self-destruct in 45 seconds. The voice echoed through the ship like thunder. Steam hissed from the broken pipes. Lights flickered. Sparks rained down from the ceiling. The enemy ship, a cold machine of death, was turning into a ticking time bomb. In the center of it all, Kai stood with Leora in his arms. Her chest glowed gold again, brighter than ever. Her pulse was no longer fading. It was surging, but Kai didn't know how long it would last. Escape or burn? Come on, Kai muttered, carrying her through the smoke-filled hallways. Behind them, alarm screamed, 30 seconds to detonation. Bodies of unconscious guards lay on the floor, knocked out by the shockwave Leora had sent moments earlier. Doors blinked open and shut. The ship was in panic mode, but Kai had no time to think. He reached the hangar, saw a small escape pod locked in the corner. Perfect, he whispered. He placed Leora inside, quickly strapping her in. She barely opened her eyes. Don't leave me, she whispered. Kai looked at her. Never. The final barrier just as he entered the pod. A loud metallic bang shook the hangar. From the shadows. Commander Rowe stepped out, holding a plasma rifle. His uniform was torn. His arm was bleeding, but his eyes were burning with rage. "You ruined everything, Kai," he said. Kai stepped in front of the pod, blocking Leora. "No, Commander, I just opened my eyes." Rowe raised the gun. "Move aside. The core inside her body belongs to us." Kai didn't flinch. "She is not a weapon, she is a person." 15 seconds to detonation. Rowe smirked. "Then you'll die with her." He fired. But in that final second, Leora's hand rose. The energy burst from her again, brighter than before. Time slowed. The bullet stopped mid-air. The walls bent like liquid light. Rowe screamed and fell to the floor, stunned by the force of her pulse. The leap of faith Kai didn't wait. He hit the launch button. The pod blasted from the hangar, just as fire filled the entire ship. From space, the black market vessel looked like a dying star, glowing red and then exploding into light. Falling through the void inside. The escape pod. Kai held Leora tightly. The pod shook violently, flying through space at unstable speed. Leora's energy was still glowing. But she looked weaker now. "We made it," Kai whispered. She smiled faintly. "No, not yet." He frowned. "What do you mean?" A final message. Leora raised her hand and touched the control panel. A hidden message activated. Coordinates appeared. A location in deep space, far from Earth, far from danger. "That is the place," she whispered, "where my people wait, in silence, watching. If I send the signal now, they will know I lived." Kai nodded. "Then let's send it." But Leora didn't move. Her eyes were closing again. "I used the last of my power to save you. I don't know if I'll stay awake long enough." Kai held her hand. "Then I'll do it, for you, for Earth, for Valari." He pressed the sequence. A beam of light shot from the pod, a signal racing across galaxies. The message was simple. She lives. She was protected. We can have peace. As the pod floated into the stars, Kai looked at Leora. Her eyes were shut, her chest rising slowly. He didn't know if she would wake up again, but out there, far across space, something was coming. A fleet of ships, Valari ships, and this time, they weren't coming to destroy. They were coming to answer. But what would they find when they arrived? Peace or more war? What happened next? The escape pod drifted in silence. Deep, in space, away from Earth, away from war, away from fire. Kai sat quietly beside Leora, watching her sleep. Or maybe something deeper than sleep. Her skin had stopped glowing. Her breathing was slow. But still there. He refused to believe she was gone. Not after everything they'd been through. He had risked everything, his life, his world, his soul, to save her. And now, he was alone, floating in a metal shell with no idea what would happen next. The signal has been sent. Suddenly, the pod's lights blinked. A soft, humming noise filled the cabin. The beacon Leora activated had reached its destination. Coordinates on the console began shifting. Auto-navigation systems kicked in. The pod turned gently in space, then shot forward, faster than Kai thought it could move. He gripped the seat. "Where are we going?" he whispered. There was no answer, only stars. The arrival. After what felt like hours, a soft light appeared ahead. It was not a star. It was a planet, glowing silver blue, surrounded by floating crystal rings. It didn't appear on any human maps. The pod slowed as it neared the planet. Then, a fleet of ships emerged from the darkness. Dozens of them. Silent. Beautiful. Covered in glowing energy lines. Kai stared in awe. He recognized the shape. Leora had shown him visions of them in her memories. Valari ships. He held his breath. Would they attack? Would they even allow him to live? But instead of firing, they opened a path. The pod was being gently pulled toward the largest ship, a temple-like craft, bright as a moon. First contact. Again, the pod landed softly inside the hangar. Kai opened the hatch, carrying Leora in his arms. Valari guards, tall, glowing, silent, stood in rows. None raised weapons. A woman stepped forward, regal, graceful, with light pouring from her skin. "You are the one who protected her?" she asked. Kai nodded. His voice shook. Is she going to die?" The woman gently touched Leora's forehead. She closed her eyes. "No," she said softly. "She's not dying. She's transforming." The transformation Kai didn't understand. The woman placed her hand on Leora's chest, over the pulse. A wave of golden light spread across the hangar. Leora floated gently from Kai's arms. Her body rose, glowing brighter, her features shifting, subtly. She was becoming more. The energy she used to save Kai and destroy the enemy ship had unlocked her full potential. She was no longer just a carrier of the pulse. She was the pulse, the living voice of her people, a symbol of peace, and also their new leader. The judgment one of the guards stepped forward. "What shall we do with the human?" Kai stood still, ready to face whatever came. Death, imprisonment, exile. He had broken his world's laws. He had saved an enemy. He had destroyed a military ship. But before the others could speak, Leora opened her eyes. Now floating in pure energy, she looked at Kai. "He is not your enemy," she said. "He is proof that humans can choose light over shadow, that not all seek to take, some seek to protect." She floated back to the ground. Her hand reached for his. Kai took it. Warm, alive. The new choice days passed. Leora recovered completely. The Valari people welcomed Kai, cautiously at first, then with quiet respect. But a question remained. What would happen now? Leora met with her council. Valari ships had already begun scanning Earth from afar. Many still wanted revenge, but Leora spoke of something else. If we return pain with pain, we become like them. Let us offer peace, once, and... Then they turned to Kai. "Will you go back and deliver our message?" she asked. A warning, a chance, a choice. The return weeks later, a new ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It did not attack. It sent a single signal. Inside was Kai, alive, changed, stronger. With him, a message. They live. They remember. But they do not seek war, unless we give them a reason. Governments argued. Some wanted war, others listened. But the people, they saw the truth in Kai's story. He became a symbol, the human who risked his life not to conquer but to connect. 1 year later, peace talks began between Earth and Valari, but far beyond their systems, in a darker part of the galaxy. Someone was watching. The ones who built the black market ship. The real puppeteers. They had lost a valuable core, and they weren't happy. A shadowed figure turned to their screen. "Send the Reapers. If they won't give us the pulse, we'll take the planet instead."